Important, once again, we understand the fundamentals of the grading system. And that's why this forum is being organized today.
It is a crime to teach without assessing. It is actually a crime now to teach without assessing. And the reason is that when you have students in front of you who appear to be listening, may not actually be in the classroom. They will be watching you, but they're thinking about something happening at home or something they'll be planning to do immediately after class. And some of you would remember that in the olden days, there used to be what was known then as BOCHO certificates. You just went through the system. At the end, they will give you a certificate. But it was found out that it was not helpful at all. So classroom assessment had to come in. So starting from the basic level up to the university level, we had to go through some form of assessment. And it is important that today we try to understand what the BECE grading system is all about. And I'm very happy and privileged to know the one who is going to give the lecture. He's a very good friend. We have worked together, and I trust that you are not going to be disappointed. As we often say, he is going to deliver the goods. So let's get ourselves ready to get the good delivered to us. I want to say that it is a joy to accept to be chairman for this program. Thank you very much.
I'm extremely delighted to welcome you all to this morning's program. It is a great honor for me to be here to welcome all of you. Your presence here is indicative of your deep interest in education and assessment, especially assessment at the basic level and its implications on certification and placement of our children. Mr. Chairman, ladies and gentlemen, for some time now, the issue of the performance of candidates at the BECE has become very topical. This is even more so because it is what is used for selection of students to the senior high schools. Several discussions have been held on the subject and the grading system used, most especially in the media. Our office has also held in-person engagements with some school management teams with the Ghana National 3 to 2027, which was launched a few months ago. Mr. Chairman, we are privileged to have one of our very own, a former member of staff who is well versed in test administration, measurement, and evaluation to speak on the topic to enlighten us. I wish to urge all of us to shed off any old ideas and thoughts that we may have about the BECE grading system, so that we appreciate fully the presentation that we'll be privy to in a short while. Once again, you are all welcome to the program. Thank you.
In the measurement of candidate performance in our examinations, we have consistently ensured that appropriate parameters and procedures are applied to generate fairness to all candidates, as well as the validity and reliability of the assessment. Mr. Chairman and distinguished guests, the BECE was born during the Ghana education reforms in 1987, while conduct the examination under the Ghana Education Service. That means all policy decisions regarding the BECE lies with the GES, while it is the duty of the Council to implement such policies as they relate to examinations. It was therefore disheartening when I read a story in an online news media insinuating that WAEC has two different marking schemes for the private and public schools in Ghana. Nothing could be further from the truth. For the avoidance of doubt, the council is an equal opportunity organization and will never favor one child over the other. Our measurement, evaluation, and assessment parameters are impartial to all candidates, irrespective of age, gender, status, private or public school. I want to state unequivocally that there is only one grading system for BECE candidates, whether they are from public and private schools.
Scores for grading is 70% external assessment score. That is the score that your children will get at the final examination, and 30% of the moderated continuous assessment scores. All right. Let's move on now. And the STANINE is the short form for Standard 9. STANINE is Standard 9. The STANINE grading system was found to be the best that could be used for both certification and selection in the early years of the educational reforms. But this is the result curve which we are using. So that if your ward scores grade 1 at the BEC, all that means is that your ward is in the top 4%. That's all. If your ward scored grade 5 in any paper at the BEC, what that means is that your ward is in the middle 20%. If your ward scored a grade 9 at the BEC, what that means is that your ward is in the lower 4%. That's all. That is all that it means. The advantages of the system. The non-reference grading system, the STANINE grading system is a non-reference grading system, and it ranks and compares students in relation to one another. So the merits is that it's very easy to compute. No human intervention. You don't have to bring experts together to decide on grade cutoff point. No financial implications. And it gives you a quick understanding of where a test score lies. For instance, I said if somebody scores 5%, then it means it's in the middle 20%. That's all. If he scores grade 1, it means it's in the top 4% and so on. And all policies about the BEC are made by the GAS or in special cases by WAEC in consultation with the GAS. But the WAEC, however, has a responsibility to ensure that procedures are in place to ensure fairness to all candidates. And as we said, the certificates are issued in the name of the council. So the credibility of the certificates has a direct effect on the reputation of the council.
Thank you very, very much, Felix Akufo-Badu, for that presentation. And while seated, I kept asking myself a few questions. I said, so which is better now? I'm sure for all of us who have been criticizing the system, after this presentation, we probably may say, well, it's not bad. Or is it still bad? You are all... I see that a lot of you like it. Anyway, that's not for me to say. I'm not going to write BEC anymore, so that's not my problem now. But of course, I'm concerned about the young ones who are writing and their future.
Just so we know, and we are all clear in our minds that indeed we are going to write BEC. We are not cancelling BEC, please. What is confusing people or some of our people is the fact that we are now moving away from the old objective base to the standards based curriculum. it does not mean that those who are on the standards-based curriculum wouldn't write BECE. They will also write BECE. Perhaps maybe the nature and form will change. So please, don't communicate that we are no more writing BECE. BECE is not cancelled. We are writing for even those who are in GHS2 would also write. Thank you very much, Winston.
I believe that what we have heard from the presentation of Mr. Akufo-Addo has answered most of our frequently asked questions, like, do we use CAS? We all know now that we use CAS, and it's at 70-30%. Maybe grade 9 is not fail. When you see grade 9, it's simply telling you that that child belongs to the lowest cohort. Grade 1 is telling you that that child belongs to the highest cohort. That's why when you take the BECE certificate, you will not see excellent. When you see grade 1, what you see there is highest. And when you see grade 9, what you see there is lowest and not fail. So the STANINE grading system just tells us where the child belongs to, whether it's above average, average, or below average.
Grading system, the STANINE, has the scores to be ranked. So if you have the scores, they are put in an ascending order from the lowest mark to the highest mark.